FYI, today is actually not the last day of the Social Media Sales Machine Workshop. We got a couple of bonus days coming hot at you on Thursday and Friday. So, day 4, tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to turn your visibility into a silent sales team. I mean, that's the beautiful part about social media is it can really continue to nurture and feed those relationship bank accounts when you show up consistently and you're visible, that it really does act like your virtual sales team. And then on day 5, we have another bonus day coming hot at you called The Secret to Showing Up Consistently Even When You're Booked and Busy. Because you're not a full-time content creator, you're out there serving clients, you're out there really involved in your own expertise. So how do you even do all this and figure out social media without you having to do it? It can be a very overwhelming task for many business owners. It's the reason why social media ends up feeling like a huge drain instead of something that brings you customers, something that really feeds your ecosystem, and something that is worth the time and the effort and the anguish. And we're going to solve that for you on day 5, the secret to showing up consistently, even when you're booked and busy. But today, we're talking about strategic visibility. It's all about how to create an engine that powers your content to client flow, how social media really serves that. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. But I want to review the first 2 days very quickly because I want to talk about how all of this comes together. So day 1, and again, you can catch these replays, of course, but day 1 was very, very important. We talked about the niching gap, and it was all about clarity. And we've all done the niching workshops, and it's gathering that digital dust. And that's where most people stop, is they're like, I have this avatar, I understand them. But ultimately on social media, because of how competitive it is, and because of AI, and because of all of the reasons why social media can be a huge obstacle to really make it work, well, you really want to focus in on this niching gap and understand that it's not more than just the concepts, the demographics of your ideal client. Yes, that is important. Where do they hang out? How old are they? Those sort of things. But where social media really comes alive is that empathy part. Really understanding who your ideal client is and using the words that they use. I often say that fishing for clients on social media is a lot like fishing for fish, and the bait are the literal words you use. You often think that like it can be easy to think that like words are not that important, but literally if you replace a word or two here, it can really bring in a different kind of person, just like the bait when you are fishing. And so when we are empathetic with our clients and we understand this niching gap and focus in on empathy of our client, not just the demographics, that's where we understand our messaging and our positioning so that our clients can actually see our social media content and be like, Lindsay, you're talking, how did you know this was exactly for me? And then finally, operational is the final niching gap. We as business owners and leaders of our company and those who are out on social media, we know our clients, but you can't be running this engine on your own. How do you actually turn that over to someone else on your team so that the clarity still comes through? Well, that's operational. And so very frequently the niching gap becomes very wide. And even though you have those demographics, if you're missing the other 2 parts, you will never be able to hand it off. And we solved that on day 1 by solving that with the One True Client method. This is one true client in your experience that you are consistently checking in with every time you're on social media. You don't assume you know, because you will always go back to trying to reach a broader range of people. So who is that one true client? Will they resonate with this? Talking to one person on social media and doing this day in and day out very consistently, remembering that one true client. I know my team and I, we have our one true client. We are consistently even creating this workshop for you. We have the clients that we get the best results for, that we help, that we are constantly checking in when we plan out what we're going to teach and saying, is this what this client that we really know, this person that's not made up, would they come to this? Would they resonate with this? Would this help them? And we are constantly asking that question. Now, day 2, we talked about metrics that matter. That was yesterday. And again, there's a huge difference between posting on social media like a business owner and posting like an influencer. And because we're used to influencers, we're used to that is what social media is. It's a game of who got the most views and the most likes. And so we share the cat memes and all the shocking videos, and we share too much about our personal lives, but that will very often ruin your positioning. And so instead, you don't want to be chasing those vanity metrics. And instead, you really want to be focused on the micro of social media, which is profile views. How many DMs and replies did I get? And did this content actually start any sales conversations? And when you start to track it like that, and when you start actually caring about those things that actually drive sales, well, it will change the way that you view social media. It will change the way that social media can actually bring in clients for you and the quality of those clients. Because if you take those two things that I taught you, okay, and I got more things to share with you today, but just those two things, then the reality is on social media, you'll be able to create content that will attract cookie cutter versions of your one true client. And as long as you have clarity on who that one true client is, well, there is an endless amount of those individuals on social media. But you have to understand these things and go away from the influencer mindset and instead really focus in on the metrics that matter and start tracking those. So today, and hey everybody, oh, it's so nice, and it's so nice to see everybody on social media as well. We are streaming live on all of the social media channels. It's great to see you as well. Thank you for being here. So today, day 3, we're talking about how to turn social visibility into qualified leads without all of the guesswork. Instead of just trying to post new ideas and just trying to come up with something new, how does social media actually work? And how does it actually serve your business? So we're going to be talking about the importance of visibility today. So let's start here, okay? You don't need to go viral on social media. In fact, that's not part of the game at all. I know that's what we think it is, but it truly isn't. You don't need to beat the algorithm and figure out what the algorithm is doing. What you need to do is become familiar. Become familiar with those individuals that are watching you on social, and the algorithms will absolutely help you do that. Let's take for an example, okay? We all know that Geico Insurance, Geico, right? If you only saw him once on your TV screen, you're not going to have any trust in him. But the fact that you see this, I guess it would be Gecko. Sorry, I'm saying Geico, Gecko. You follow what I'm saying. The Gecko, okay? Now, if you only see him once, you're not going to want this Gecko to be doing your insurance. But after you see this guy 10, 20, 30 times talking about your insurance, wanting to help you with your insurance, then all of a sudden in your head, you're thinking, well, maybe I do want this little animal to be doing my insurance for me, because visibility builds trust and trust builds clients. And that's really what you're shooting for when it comes to social media, and why being consistent on social media is so incredibly essential. So this is how it looks. Content that compounds. So first of all, you have visibility. I spelled that wrong. Excuse my visibility. Then that builds trust, and then you will get clients, and it goes round and round in a circle. And that is why you want to be able to be consistent on social media, because that is actually what builds trust, because recognition leads to trust, and trust leads to speed in sales. Because here's what happens. When somebody is quietly watching your content, by the time they reach out, the sale is already halfway closed. You don't need to pitch. You're already the obvious choice. They're already comfortable with you. And we hear it from our clients all of the time in the agency. We hear it all the time. I heard it this morning. I had no idea this person who just closed were watching when they messaged me out of nowhere, and now they're ready to work together. And it's not magic when you use social media this way. It's just social media actually doing its job. And so where small business owners like you often run into a lot of trouble is they run into a principle that I call visibility debt. And this is what happens when you post online and then you end up disappearing for a while and then you pop back online to promote something and nobody responds to you. And so then you're like, social media doesn't work. And this isn't because your offer is bad. It's because your audience wasn't warmed up. And so this can look like stop and go posting. This is very, very common for many business owners because you're not getting an ROI. So then you stop, but then you're wanting clients to come in. And so then you start posting again and really hope that they'll start coming in. As I said, many people will only show up when they all of a sudden need clients, but they haven't put the work in. They have no visibility. They don't have that consistency and trust. And so nothing happens on social media. And then finally, this whole thing is about momentum. When we work with clients, we work with them long term. We do require 3 months with us to work with us so that because we understand that's about how long it takes to start getting momentum with your consistency on social media. And you can't stop. This has to be consistent in order to actually make social media work for you. And so when you're in visibility debt, okay, you're trying to withdraw trust that you haven't even deposited into the bank account. So if your content disappears, so does your momentum. And that's why the visibility dashboard that we talked about yesterday is so important. You do not want to be obsessed about the numbers. What you want to do is ask yourself, is my business present in the places that actually matter? So let's do a little exercise here. So many of you, okay, let's do a little quick reflection. Many of you posted yesterday, both on social media and in the Zoom room here, how often you're posting on social. And many of you are posting 5 to 7 times a week. So excellent job on the amount of social media that you're posting out there. But let's ask ourselves a question, okay, about social media. And it has nothing to do with how many views I got or how many likes and shares. What you should really be caring about is looking at those 5 to 7 posts and asking yourself, did those posts drive any profile views? Did anyone visit your profile because of what you said on a video? Did those posts generate any replies or messages because of the post? And did anyone quietly watch and then reach out? The fact is, if not, then your content, it's not broken. You just don't have a system yet for utilizing that visibility that you're getting and generating more clients. It's the content system and the iteration system that creates predictability, and visibility is how we build momentum that doesn't stop when you do, because life is going to come along, and certainly you want to make sure that you're always consistent, or you're going to find yourself in that visibility debt. So let's pause here for a second, okay? And think about this for a moment. Who's already watching you on social media right now that you don't even know about? I shared with you a couple of times in this workshop, I had the opportunity to be featured on Netflix. And it wasn't that I was out looking to be on Netflix. I was never looking to go and be on a show on Netflix. But because I was posting on social media, and I have been posting consistently on social media, Netflix found me. Did I know that I had Netflix producers watching me on social media? No, I had no idea. But one morning, I walk into my office and there's an email. Hey, Lindsay, we saw you on social media. We have a show you'd be perfect for. Do you have a passport and can you leave in 3 weeks? So I went. And that's a pretty extreme example, but it's still shocking to me this very day. And it happens in a more important way in my business on a daily and a weekly basis. People that I talk to, I have been watching you on social media for the last 2 years. I have watched all of your videos. I got one even this morning. Lindsay, I've been watching all of your videos, and here is my question for you. And this is somebody who has never really commented on my posts. I didn't even know they were watching. It's great to meet them. It's great to connect with them. But even now, and I understand this principle of the buyers in your world, the people who are watching, you actually have no idea who is watching. So we recently even had a client just last week who had signed $25,000 worth of contracts from a person who never even liked, commented, or done anything on social media. They were just sitting there and watching them for months. And so the fact is, when you're consistent on social media right now, with those individuals who are so consistent on social media, your next client is already following you. Okay. They're waiting for that one post that clicks, or they're waiting for that time where their need is so at the forefront of their attention that it's time for them to reach out. And so that is why I always say your visibility is either working for you or it's working for somebody else. So don't let the silence on social media fool you. Don't let the lack of engagement distract you. Stay visible, stay strategic, and stay present. And find a way to do that and really build up that momentum. So, hey, everybody, nice to see you guys too. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about what it looks like on social media to get profile views and how that leads to a phone call. But let me share with you visibility flow. This is how it actually works. And when you understand this, then you can understand why it is so important to be consistent on social media. So, first of all, it all starts with content. This is your visibility engine. Okay. Apparently, I remembered the I this time. It's not a straight line, but it is a system that compounds over time. And that's why we want to work with our clients for 3 months plus. They continue to work with us past those 3 months mark, but the real magic happens about right there. That's why it's so critical to start social media right now, because then you're going to be cashing checks that you deposited right now when you start social right now, because it compounds over time. So this is what it looks like. You have content. It's not any content, okay? It's content built with clarity around that one true client. It cannot just be random content or things that you think. You actually have to be talking to your ideal client. Then comes consistency, showing up regularly enough to stay on top of mind. The social media algorithms will help you out with this all day. If you think people don't want to hear from me 5 days a week, which is what we recommend posting minimally on social media, the fact is the algorithms aren't going to be serving your stuff 5 days a week to those people right when you post it. The algorithms got you covered because they know what people need in their feeds and when they need it. So it's in your best interest to just consistently make that content so that when the algorithm knows, because the algorithms know pretty much everything about us, right? That it will make sure that that is served to your ideal client at an ideal time when they're on social media looking and pausing at other things around their problems. Like, for example, we serve a lot of insurance agents and real estate agents. If a person is pausing on a social media post around looking at a house, then the chances of your latest post coming up in their feed almost next, that is very highly likely. Now, if they're in the mode where they're looking at cat videos, maybe that their day is cat video day. Okay. Like, we've all been in a cat video mood. And so is your post going to show up to them? Probably not that day. So you don't need to worry about that. The algorithms will make sure that they are feeding these so that everybody's getting the dopamine hits that they need. Your job is to remain consistent and not worry that you're over flooding 5 days a week with those posts. Your job is creating content that speaks to your ideal client and doing that consistently. Oh my gosh, what is up with the spelling? I'm so sorry. Okay, recognition, where people start to associate you with a specific result. And so after you have consistency, then you're going to have recognition. And that's where people will start being like, that is what she does. I now know that Gecko will sell me some insurance. Then you will be able to form trust, and that forms quietly behind the scenes over many social media posts, over you being consistent and you showing up consistently in their feeds. Then that will lead to leads. That's DMs, replies, referrals, and invitations. And then finally, you have sales. And this isn't because you pushed and because you're always really pushing what you want to sell, but it's because they were already primed. And the best part is that when the system is working, it feeds itself. Every single sale brings brand new eyes, and every conversation sparks even more recognition. And so the fact is that where most people go wrong is that they don't remain consistent on social media, but visibility compounds, okay? Trust isn't built in a single post. It is a series of 50 posts that somebody saw. It's earned in the cycle, the visibility cycle, and that is exactly why you want to continue to be consistent on social media. So you've probably heard, we've all heard this because it's a pretty standard marketing lingo, the know, like, and trust factor. But the truth is that most people on social media stop at the knowing part. They post once or twice, maybe getting a few likes, and then they expect people just to throw money at them or get people to buy from them. But trust doesn't come from a single post. It comes from a pattern. It comes from a rhythm of showing up, delivering value, and staying on top of mind and incredibly relevant, targeted in on that one ideal client. So maybe the first time somebody sees your post, that's a spark, right? They're like, oh, that's interesting. But after they see a repetition of posts that you're consistently posting, then you're going to be able to build that recognition, and recognition turns into trust and readiness to buy. So a lot of times people will invest in one social media post and you're like, this is the post that is going to bring me all of the clients. This is so good. It talks to my ideal client. I'm going to spend 2.5 hours on it. I'm going to adjust this caption and I'm going to post it. And out it goes, and crickets. Not much happens. And so then you feel deflated, and then you stop posting, and then you kind of like, oh, this sucks. Social media sucks. But what you really want to know is that people don't convert because of one caption. They convert because they've seen you enough times to actually believe this person gets me, I trust them, and I am ready to move forward. And that's exactly why our system works. The social media sales machine works, because it's not a content hack. I'm not trying to tell you how to get more viral views, because that's not going to bring you customers. It's a trust building machine. It's the powerful of visibility done correctly. And that is the flow of how you actually generate clients on social media. So let's talk now. There's a couple of mistakes that we see people make very frequently on social media. This is what breaks the consistency, the visibility engine. So we want to be avoiding these mistakes. So inconsistent posting. And I've frequently even seen that the algorithms will not punish. That's kind of like that's a harsh word to say punish, but they will punish you if you stop and go posting. They won't take you seriously. Then when you come back to post, then the algorithms are like, is she serious this time? So it's in the social media algorithm's best interest is to make sure that those consistent content creators are rewarded, because the algorithms can then understand the information and better dial in to be able to know who your ideal client is. So for those individuals who only post when they have time, and you disappear when you're busy, or you only show up during a launch and then you go quiet over the rest of the month, that inconsistency just isn't costing you visibility. It's eroding your trust in your clients, in your prospects, in anyone watching you on social media if you only show up every 3 months in their feed, and to the algorithms. And so you're actually really harming yourself when you do stop and go posting. So your audience will say, are these guys, does Lindsay still do business? I haven't seen her post for a long time. They were showing up every day in my feed last month and now nothing. The truth is, the people who buy from you, they need to see you way more than once, and visibility only works when it's consistent. Now, we talked a little bit about this problem, giving up after a bad post. Have you ever spent time crafting a post and then it gets like 12 likes and 0 comments? And so you kind of spiral out of control and be like, I spent so much time on that post and nobody is liking it. I see it all the time. And business owners who are operating in a silo by themselves and are doing this by themselves, or they're having a VA do it and they don't understand the big picture, then they often think, well, this doesn't work, and they end up stopping. But here's the thing. You don't know who saw that post and didn't react. You don't know who came to your profile and viewed that. And you don't know who silently filed you away as, I'm going to reach out to her as my service business provider when I'm ready. A bad post or a post that didn't perform as well as you had hoped, it is not a failure ever, okay? It's a deposit in the trust bank account, and consistency is what compounds that interest, okay? Consistency. It's just like money. You always just want to be consistent, and that's where you're going to get the payoffs. The same goes for social media. And then finally, treating content like a one-time launch strategy instead of a relationship. If your content only shows up when you're promoting something, then it's not a strategy, it's a broadcast, and you're treating your audience like a list, and they're going to feel like a cog in the wheel. They're going to feel like you're always asking for something, and they're not going to feel like they're in a real relationship with you because you're always asking and you're always wanting a sale. People do not build trust from a single post. They build trust from consistency, presence, and resonance over time, day in and day out. And that's exactly why your content needs to be always on. You don't always want to be selling, but you always want to be serving your audience, serving your one true client, and providing value. Because when you do that, then when it is time for you to launch, or when it is time to make that ask, you've already deposited into the relationship bank accounts, and well, you will be able to generate clients from social media. Remember this, those businesses that you admire on social media, they're not guessing, they're not stop and go posting, they're seen every day on social media, consistently, intentionally, and strategically. So let me show you a real life example of a client of ours. So he is an insurance agent, and I think it's fair to say that a lot of people would be like, well, content for insurance agents, how could you ever get a lot of traction for that? And our client here, Chris Paradiso, he is now posting. So he's been working with us for several months. He's now crested well over that 3-month period. And of course, in the first couple of months, we weren't getting this kind of interaction, these kind of people reaching out. But now with consistent talking head videos, strategic messaging for his audience, and no chasing, just showing up clearly and consistently as a service provider with his ideal client in mind, sharing what it means to grow his agency and why it is so important, and helping his ideal client, okay? That content positions Chris as an expert before the sales calls ever happens. It supports every single part of his sales funnel, and he generates clients from social media. And this is what consistent social media can look like for you in a real business with real results. So here's my main question for you. If you are ready to stop guessing, if you're ready to stop ghosting your audience when life gets full, and to finally be seen by the right people on social media consistently without draining your time and energy, without playing this guessing game, we can help you here at the BAM Agency, my awesome team that does that helps me here, Shauna and Emily. That's exactly what we do and have been doing for the last 20 years in our Done For You social media visibility package. It's not a course, it's not a coaching program. This is your content completely handled. And if you're a service-based business owner, it works for you and allows us to take all of the heavy lifting of social media off your plate. Now, we don't work with just every business owner. We work with business owners who already know how to convert. They just need to be seen by more of the right people more consistently without having to figure it out all for themselves. And so if that sounds like you, then let me tell you a little bit about what's included in our offer and how we actually help business owners. We show up to a once a month video batching session. I ask you questions. I set you up. I know who your ideal client is. All you need to do for that 1 hour is show up in your expertise. We then take that 1 hour of content and we pull 30 days of high converting content, all from that one-on-one interview with me, where you've just shown up in your expertise. Most of my clients, like Chris, he doesn't even study. He doesn't even review the notes that I send him about what we're going to talk about, because it ultimately is his expertise. It is 1 hour a month. And then everything gets scheduled and posted for you. It's all done behind the scenes so you can stay focused on your zone of genius while your content builds trust and momentum and acts like that invisible salesperson behind the scenes. Now, our packages, they start as low as $997 a month. And if that is, worth more content or more clients, more high quality leads on social media, I highly recommend that you apply now for a lead attraction strategy session. So if that interests you, go ahead and type in yes in the comments. My team will make sure that they send you over a link to get scheduled now for a lead attraction strategy session. We will also be dropping the link. And if you're saying to yourself, this sounds amazing, but is it really for me? I don't even know what to say in my content right now. What if I am not ready yet? I do recommend that you hop on a call with me. We call it a lead attraction strategy session. And it's not a high pressure sales call, what we're offering here, okay? It's a strategic conversation designed to help you get unstuck and actually see what is possible. All you need to do is head over to lindsaya.com/attract, fill out that form, and you and I will get on a call and we will have a strategic conversation. A strategic conversation designed to help you get unstuck and see what is possible on social media for you and your growing business as we go into 2025 and beyond. So this just isn't any call. And I had several people yesterday say they have been on a call with me. This is a clarity session where we will review your current visibility system or where it's falling flat, what's happening, why you aren't converting. We're going to get crystal clear on this call on who your ideal client is and how to position your message consistently and to be able to scale it so it's not all on you. And we're going to map out, you and I are going to map out what your next 90 days are going to look like with a system like this doing all of the heavy lifting for you. You can finally go out and serve your customers and have sales conversations that are coming in because you're consistently showing up on social media. We're going to walk you through what it looks like for you to stop posting and guessing what to post, and instead wake up every day knowing that your content is working even while you sleep. So all you need to do is head over to lindsaya.com/attract, apply for that strategy session. Now, I love having these strategy sessions. Let me tell you a little bit about how that works. And I will say this is once those the availability for my calendar is gone, it is gone. I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of different things. So once that is gone, it is gone. But here is how it goes. Okay. First of all, we're going to have you fill out a short application. This just helps us know that you're the right fit and that we can truly help. I'm not here to waste anybody's time. I want to know a little bit about you before we get on a phone call so that we can dive right in to strategy and get right to the nuts and bolts of how to create your visibility system. The second, if your application is aligned when we think we can help you, then you're going to be able to book your session. You'll meet with me and we will come to an understanding of what your business model is, what your goals are, and what your needs are for results. This will not be busy work. This is me and you on a call getting real clarity. And then finally, if you're a good fit and it is an option for us to be able to help you, okay, do this, our done for you visibility work, social media visibility work, we will share that with you in detail. If it is not something that will fit. If it is not aligned, you will still leave this call with massive clarity and a roadmap to improve your content right away. So we're offering this call. All you need to do, Emily dropped the link in there. All you need to do is head over to lindsayaa.com/attract and get signed up for that call. Now, you can keep trying. At this point, you have a couple of decisions to make. Okay. You can keep trying to force consistency, hoping that your content magically turns into leads. And if it hasn't, it probably won't. Okay. No magical posting will do that. Or you can let us help you build a system that makes it inevitable. You don't need to guess. You don't need to chase. You don't need to write another caption at midnight hoping that it lands. The fact is, over the last couple of decades, we've built a system you just need to plug in with your business and allow us to help you do just that. So click on the link to apply right now. Reach out, make sure that you get on that calendar so we can actually see if we can help you with your social media. Let's make your visibility consistent. Let's make your presence profitable, and let's make your content finally convert. So hop on that calendar session now by heading to lindsayaa.com/attract. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, this is not our final day together. Tomorrow, we will be live again right here in the Zoom room with Turn Your Visibility into Your Silent Sales Team. We'll walk through how to build a system where the right clients show up and are ready to buy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you hop on that link. Let's get on a call and plan out your visibility engine today. lindsayaa.com/attract. Now I'll turn it over to my fantastic team to answer any questions that you might have.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. As Lindsay mentioned, today is not the last day. It's not the last day. We've got some bonus sessions coming up. So, day 4, turn visibility into your silent sales team, right? I mean, to have things working for you in the